It's 2 Spackmanns wide. Carbon monoxide warning on the inside. I gotta say, I'm really liking the caution that Luxe is throwing on their tents. I'm a huge advocate for carbon monoxide detectors and smoke detectors with a heat source in your tent. You know what they say about guys with big tents, right? They need a big stove. Hey everybody, welcome back to Adventures of Spackmann. Today, we're setting up and looking at the Luxe Twinpeak hot tent. This tent is huge in a small package. Stick around, guys, it's a good one. Here's the Luxe Twinpeak shelter. I've wanted this tent since they came out with it, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago. It was really cheap when they first entered the market. I wanna say it was under $200. Now it's around $400, but I got this on sale, 50% off for $185. So I'm pretty excited about it. I've really wanted this tent for a while. It is supposed to be a huge tent in this small package. This is small. This is probably, I don't know, maybe 2 feet long by 6 inches deep or round. It's a pretty small package for a pretty big tent. I got some big stakes and I got some poles. Oh, that clip is attached to the bag. The bag has MOLLE webbing on one side. Actually, it's not even MOLLE webbing. Oh, sort of. It's got 2 loops. Buckles on the end. Oh, and it's a dry bag type roll-up dry bag with Velcro. Here is the stove jack. It's already got a hole for your pipe. Now, one thing I really like about this brand, on their website and their products, they warn you about carbon monoxide poisoning. I'm a huge advocate for having a carbon monoxide detector in your tent while using a hot tent stove or any sort of heat source in a tent, because shit can happen and a detector can save your life. This is a pretty cool stove jack. I like it. I like that it's got the oval circle so that your pipe doesn't have to go like sideways out, it can go up. I like that. That hole's a little small, so we might have to make it bigger for a bigger pipe. We're not worrying about this today. And here's the tent, guys. It's got a green logo on the Velcro strap to hold the tent. I never use these things after I open a tent. Usually it just gets stuffed back into the bag. All right, here's the stakes. Let's check out the stakes. They are aluminum Y stakes. They also say www.luxeoutdoors.com, luxeoutdoor.com. Man, even their stakes have branding on them. What the heck? There's quite a few stakes in there. And just stakes, no more guy ropes in there, just stakes. And there's quite a few. I think we need a minimum of 8 stakes to put this tent up, so let's get that going. Now, if you notice, my water tests have left this ground a little icy. So getting stakes into it are gonna be a little problematic. So I'm not gonna be using these, I'm gonna be using my big steel stakes. So we'll throw those aside too. First thing I wanna do is check out the outside threading. Just a quick glance at it, just to see if there's anything I notice off the bat. I do see some loose threads, but loose threads are common with tents. I'm kind of worried about the peaks where the poles go. Man, this is a big tent. Right here, there's some of the reinforcement fabric for the peak coming out right there. Not sure if that's gonna cause an issue or not with waterproofness, but we'll find out. I think I looked this over enough. I'm gonna stretch this huge tent out. One side of this tent has an awning, and I want that awning facing the woods. So the tent did come with instructions. You gotta stake out the 8 stakeout spots, then you put your poles in, and your tent's erect just like that. We recommend users to apply seam sealers on zipper seam of outer fly, Velcro stitching lines in certain points on inner tent corners in order to obtain better waterproof results if the tent will be subject to prolonged rainfall or wet environments. I don't know if I was showing that, but here it is right here. They also say that the fabric meets fire retardant standards. Should we test that, huh guys? Blowtorch? Flamethrower? What do you say? So we might have to seam seal this one. At least they told us that we had to, right? That's all we want, is them to tell us that we have to, not keep it a secret. All right, so here's the loop for the stakeout spots. Pull this, and you make your loop. Let's see if we can get this in the ground. Well, that's not coming out till spring. And now you repeat the process 7 more times. Man, this is big. It is freezing out. My hands are frozen. Excuse me. Now with all 8 stakeout spots staked out, now we gotta put the poles in. Let me show the poles I'm using. Now most of the Luxe tents don't come with poles. You can buy them from them, but I'm using these old vintage adjustable locking poles. They extend like that, and then this little metal thing just locks them in place. They have a point on the end, so I'm gonna be covering this with a little plastic container to make sure it doesn't pop through the top. Let's get this tent pitched. Wow, that is a big Velcro. It looks like a 2x2 square of Velcro. It's the biggest Velcro I've ever seen on any tent. That's insane. Let's try out these zippers. That's pretty smooth. That's some big Velcro, man. Now this flap that covers the awning zipper, it's gotta be 5 inches wide. I think the easiest way to pitch it is from the awning side. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm gonna open up the awning and get these poles up. Now you can use your trekking poles for this tent, but you're gonna need an extension for it, and Luxe sells an extension for your trekking poles so that you can use your trekking poles with this tent. I just happen to have these on hand, so that's what we're using today. These are the little containers I'm using. Little Nickelodeon slime, not sponsored. Speaking of not sponsored, I bought this tent myself. Like I said before, I've wanted this tent for a long time, and now I got one. It's supposed to be a huge tent, and for 200 bucks, you can't go wrong. I mean, $200 for a huge tent. I wanted this to be able to take my kids camping and anybody else. I mean, hopefully we can fit 4 people in this with a stove. We'll find that out. You ready to see how big this is, guys? It's 2 Spackmanns wide. Actually, probably 3 Spackmanns wide. 2.5 Spackmanns wide. This is huge. You guys want to come inside? let's check out the inside. Look. All right, there's the stove jack there. Even carbon monoxide warning on the inside. I gotta say, I'm really liking the caution that Luxe is throwing on their tents, because, like I said, I'm a huge advocate for carbon monoxide detectors and smoke detectors with a heat source in your tent. There's Remy dog. There is so much room in this tent. I mean, just think about the activities you can do in here. I mean, one cot can go where you guys are, in front of that door. One cot can go here. One cot can go here. Stove over here. This may be a 3-cot tent. That's awesome. It's got these straps right here, and this is to have it the same width every time. I obviously didn't pitch it 100% correct. It's about 4 inches too tall, but there is a snow skirt, so I could cover this all with snow, but for today, I'm just checking out the tent. We'll test it out at a later point in time. So each of the end vestibules have vents right here with little stiff sticks to keep them open. There is no mesh on the vents to keep bugs out, but they do sell a 4-person inner tent for this that goes right here in the middle. You can purchase that separately. It does not come with the tent. Let's pull you guys into the corner and check out this seam ceiling. Whoa, I almost went down. That was slippery. This whole crotch area is all seam sealed. It looks like it's done pretty well. We'll test that with the water torture test. That's probably gonna happen this week sometime. It's supposed to be warmer out. It's just too cold to run the test and have it be effective. So we have to wait for that. The initial setup of this tent, it looks good. I love the style of this tent. It's like a big boy stove hut. Let's hope it holds water out better than the stove hut though. It has 2 doors, one on either end. They both have mesh cover in them for bugs in the springtime, summertime, fall time. I am really excited about this tent, guys. I've wanted this for 2 years, over 2 years, maybe even over 2 years, I'm not sure. On my 3FUL gear hot tent, these little flaps right here for the guy outs have a little pocket. This is open right here and the guy out line goes right into it. I really wish more tent companies would do that. I can't see it costing them any more money, but it's an awesome feature to get these freaking things out of the way when you're putting your tent away or you just don't want them there. Once you untie it like this, it's just a piece of string that just gets in the way when you're not using it. So it's really cool to be able to tuck that away and just hide it, get it out of your way. There's also no lack of branding on this tent. This side says Luxe, the other side says Luxe. Every one of their stakes says luxeoutdoor.com, every single one of them. Just in case you didn't know where you bought your tent from, they remind you everywhere. Now, I've heard some horror stories about Luxe customer service and how it's just non-existing. Hopefully I don't have a problem with this tent. I have no experience. This is my first Luxe tent, so I can't speak to their customer service. But I did reach out to them, asking them if they'd send me this tent for my testing, and all I got was crickets. I reached out to them in 3 different platforms. Nobody responded. So the things I've read about their customer service may be true. Hopefully I never have to find out. But you guys let me know in the comments down below what your experience with Luxe customer service is. If you have a good one, a bad one, neutral, let me know down below. So I was going through the tent and look right here. Seam tape just stops right here. There's none going this way. Same with over here, coming down from the peak, it just stops right here. Now this is the same for both doors. I checked them both. I don't know why they did that, why they stopped there. The top seam for the stove jack flap is seam sealed. A lot of tents have a problem right here and they tend to leak. We'll find out if this one does. I don't know why they just ended up stopping like this. That doesn't make much sense to me. What is that, $2? Actually, when you're a tent manufacturer, I bet you that's 50, not even 50 cents worth of tape. It's gotta be 5 cents worth of tape when you buy it in bulk like that, right? I don't understand why they stopped there, but that might be a reason why they tell you to seam seal it. Because they just stopped doing it. I don't know. Time will tell. The Spackmann water torture test will tell us if this is gonna leak or not, right? So we'll find out. This really is a big tent. You know what they say about guys with big tents, right? They need a big stove. If you like this sort of thing, think about hitting that subscribe button. I'll leave it right here in the middle. Thanks a lot for joining us in this one, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Big tents, big stoves. Right?